Hello and welcome back to Tomahawk Fabworks. This time I'm working on the exhaust. I started up the car a little bit with a little bit of gas, and it sounded like a top fuel dragster was starting up in the garage. It was so loud. So I got to put some kind of exhaust system on it so it's a little bit quieter, and so let's get to it. So I have a set of Flowmaster Super 40 series 3-inch. I'm fitting up a 3-inch exhaust on this car. Whether it's too much or not, I'm not sure, but watching and reading on forums about exhaust systems and back pressure and the like, it seems to be the opinion that the better you can breathe the car, the better for the engine, the better for performance. So that's the theory I'm going with. So this is what I got so far. I got the left side on, and this skinny little thing's gonna get replaced, but I made this so that at least while I was working on it, it wouldn't shift around on me, because that was like a big problem. This is like a 2 or 3 days of work here. You know, you got the loop that goes up over the axle, and as you can see right here, I had to make some adjustments. I made some cuts into the exhaust, and then you kind of like bring the cut together and tack it so it holds in place, so I can bring this radius together, which finally I got hopefully where it's supposed to be. And then the tailpipe comes down. This is something that could work, but I'm not completely happy with, because what I'd like to do, this is coming down the back side of the axle, and what I'd like to do is have it come this way a little bit and skirt the gas tank, and then continue on to the continue on to the tailpipe, just to get it away from the gas tank a little bit more. And so this pre-bent pipe then comes this way and goes out to the back of the car. Okay, so now we're at the forward part. Here's the coming off the collector. So I took a wooden block. This is probably I haven't even measured this. I just eyeballed it. This little piece of wood, cut it and glued it to the cross member here that's stamped and welded into the floor pan, and used a pegboard hook and this hole was already in here. So I hooked that there, used a zip tie so I can hook it around where the seatbelt bolt comes out, and I can hook this zip tie around and move this exhaust pipe around this and that a little bit, back and forth, for this connection up here. So I got a couple of 45-degree, I got a set of 4 of these off of Amazon. These stainless steel 45-degree bends, and these fit right in. This one fits right in here, real super easy, because easy's good. And I just don't want to get the exhaust pipe any closer to that. So I got it taped up temporarily. You can see the jog happening here. So it lines up pretty good. Whoop, look out. Just trying to keep this main pipe in that clearance area right there. As I move this around and try and position this, I'm either going to do one or two things, and I could just make a standard measurement, because I'll be doing this to the other one too, is measure back from here, maybe like right to where, just before this block here, and make a pie cut in this to get this to start to angle up. so I can meet up with this, or take a length of pipe and put it in between these two elbows and bring this down, or a combination of the both. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. I know this is probably a dark shot, so I'll just put some light on the subject here real quick. There, that's better. I can get a better idea. Down here, like that. Another thing I was thinking about too is supporting the front of the front of the muffler here. Like, where am I going to do that at? And it just so happens that the inlet right here pretty much lines up dead balls on with this other cross member that's stamped and welded into the floor of the car. So I can make a plate and screw and weld it in here, and use a muffler clamp and make a holding device, make a holding device right there, and that'll hold it in place. This may seem ludicrous, maybe even crazy to people, but this is what I got here. So I want to make this level and tucked up in here nice and neat and all this and that, and this is the only way I know to do it. So I made this contraption right here. Now there's only sheet metal screws holding it in up on the member here, but this is enough to hang this exhaust system. And I still got to make one more little tweak to this mechanism. So we got a piece of all. So I got a plate with a couple of angles here, and a piece of all thread and some nuts. And get in here so you can see. So now I can adjust the height to a certain degree, and I can adjust left and right alignment. And so I've chosen, just kind of like fits in the pocket back here. I know, kind of fits in the pocket back here. So I'm keeping it. 2x4s aren't 2x4s, they're like 3 3/4 inches. So I'm using a little block of 2x4 to keep this evenly spaced away from the drive shaft. And this is, I'm doing this all the way back, and I'm having a hard time with the back because there's nothing fancy back in the back like this. There's just like a clamp with the wire. And I've been trying to make the back check all the fitments for all the over the hoop. Okay. So now I got it level again. But like I said, I did some welding with these 45s. These are still taped together. I got an extension going into the muffler there, and just this a little long, so I'm gonna have to cut some length off of this so I can butt up against this and weld it. And then even if I'm a little short, I got about 2 inches or more, probably 3, where that's expanded out and going onto the header pipe. So I got plenty of play to work with. So let's get back to the back and see what's going on there. Yeah, this is all I got going on back here. I just cobbled this together real quick. I got some thicker rod that I'm really going to be using to hang this part with. This is just something I threw together, man, so I can start getting this thing put together. I'll show you what I'm trying to accomplish here. So this the coil spring, right? And you can see up here, this is the pocket it goes into, but you can see the tip of my finger right there, right? This is the edge of the stamping. Okay, I think we can do it now. Am I running? All right, so this is part of the stamping that's welded or riveted into the rest of the body for the spring cup, I guess you could call it. And I wanted to get the loop pipe, the over the axle exhaust loop over the axle, and just left it just to the inside of this, right? And so that's going to give me plenty of clearance for, back off here, for this control arm. So I've taken a lot of measurements, and here's the bump stop going up going up to the frame, and there's no way that this axle is ever going to hit the bottom of the exhaust pipe. And this is going to like have plenty of play here for this clearance here. It's all going to be good. And here's it coming over the end. And I don't know if I cut something off of this or whatever, but I had to use this expanded collar part. I'll probably cut off another part of the kit and just use my sheet metal screws just so I can like loosely insert this. So now this pre-bent tailpipe part, I had to put a couple of extensions on it so I can get this to work right. I know looking in the underneath the car in the video, it's kind of hard to vision this all out because it was hard for me to vision it out, so I started getting this all put together. But this is going to work for now. I'd like to get that diagonal part that's going just cutting the corner of the fuel tank and make that more of a like 90-degree curve that goes around it, but that's going to be later. I don't know, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. We'll wait and see. But right now I got to get this thing functional and make some cuts, make some welds, see if this thing all shakes out. So we'll push it on here. I don't know if I even saw this on YouTube anywhere, but I thought about how am I going to make a real nice even cut all the way around, draw a line, all that kind of stuff to make sure it's straight. So you can use a regular screw clamp, but I just happen to have one of these types right here. Slide this on. And of course I don't have the proper wrench with me right now. Got to get that. There we go. All right. Take a ruler right and measure your distance you want. It's my Tomahawk Fabworks Pro tip. Right. And you can take a marking device of your choice, whether it be a marker or a paint pen, right? Draw around. Paint pens generally dry pretty quick. And then you take your cutoff wheel or your cutting device of choice and make this is why I do it. I'll penetrate in, make a slot, and I keep on going all the way around. I don't try and like run this all the way, because that just seems to me to drift on me and make all kinds of problems from before. So there's a pro tip. You can take it or leave it if you want. I'm gonna get this cut and get it fitted back underneath the car, and also get this double 45-degree jog piece welded up, at least tacked. We'll get it back under the car and see how everything fits. So coming on down to the muffler, I've got two shorty 45-degree elbows with an 1.5 inch spacer, and this in turn goes into the inlet of the muffler. And then this is hung by the device I fabricated. This allows, gross left and right and somewhat up and down for an inch or so adjustment for alignment, so that you can custom set this right where you want it, where I wanted it. I'm finding out now that this right here is really big, and I just didn't know at the time where this is all going to fall. But now I can, when it comes to final installation, I can take this out and cut this in half, and I will make two more for the back. Okay, we're at the back. Show you that now. There was two existing holes in the frame of the car where you see those two nuts at, and I just wanted not to have to drill more holes to get this exhaust hung, so I just used those and made a brace or a bracket and used another muffler clamp as a hanger and some measurements and eyeballing to hang this up. And this affair right here will be gone for the final installation later on after the Silverado gets its frame, back half frame put on. So this goes up and over the axle there, clamped together here, comes down, misses the gas tank, and goes out the back. And that's it. Here's what it looks like from the back of the car underneath going forward. Not too bad if I say so myself. Okay, so there it is. A custom 3-inch exhaust, dual exhaust for the Pontiac Lemans / GTO. More of a Pontiac Lemans than a GTO. It is fully functional and just tacked together at this point because I'm going to be making some changes to the back and get the exhaust tubes away from the gas tank. They're kind of like going underneath the corners of it there. And I'm going to get those swung up and out of the way and tucked up into the car a little bit better. Try and curve around the outside of the tank and keep that exhaust heat away from as much as possible later on. But like I said before, this has to get put together, functional, so the car can be ran and moved out of the garage to get the Silverado in, to get the back half of that frame replaced. And that's pretty much it. So if you made it to the end of the video, appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and share, and have a good summer. Oh yes, there is one more thing. Heater core connections leaking, obviously, right? But it runs, and it sounds good. Not nearly as loud as I thought it was going to be, thank goodness. But yeah, I mean, couldn't be more happy. Couldn't be more happy. Wonder what kind of a job that's going to be. Okay then, finally the end of the video. Thanks for stopping to watch it if you made it all the way. I know I shoot sometimes overly detailed long form videos, but sometimes I go on YouTube to watch other people's stuff, and it just seems like they rush through, skip through a lot of steps, and don't show the kind of detail that I'd like to see. So that's why I shoot them the way I do. Coming up next is obviously fixing the leaky heater core, which I went on YouTube after this happened and see what other people had made. And there's maybe one on there that's more than like 7 or 8 minutes long, and it shows a little bit more, but the other ones I found, it just seems like they got 3/4 or halfway into the project and then started shooting just to say, I did this, this, and this, and now this is how it comes out, all that kind of stuff. So when I do this job, I'm going to go right from the beginning. I'll try not to make it too long, but I want to show step by step how it's done, maybe any problems that you might occur along the way. If I get it out and it's not cracked too bad, who knows, maybe I can solder or braze it back together, not even have to make buy a new one. So that being said, this is the end of the video. Have a good summer. I'll get to the next problem here as much as I can, but as I see it right now, the car can get in and out of the garage, so I can get the Pontiac, or not the Pontiac, but the Silverado in, start working on the back half of that frame. Be cool.